Hello readers and writers, I'm MJ and let's talk about the different types of readers you may need for your novel. When you start to write a novel, you soon find out there's more to it than just putting words to paper. Maybe you're watching AuthorTube or strolling through author threads and you see all the different terminology. Let's talk about it. Today, we're going to discuss the different type of readers for your novel. There are four main stages that you will hear talked about for engaging readers: alpha, beta, sensitivity, and ARC readers. Each of these readers are engaged in different parts of the writing process and for different reasons. Alpha readers are readers who are engaged very early in the writing process. They may be used for feedback about the actual plot or specific scenes or to review a first draft. Not every author uses alpha readers. If you do want to utilize alpha readers, I would suggest you keep the number very low, maybe even just one person. I specifically do not use alpha readers. However, at this stage in my writing process, I'll bounce ideas off of my writers group or my kid, which essentially serves the same function. Next are beta readers. Beta readers typically read a draft about midway through the writing process. The writing has been polished enough to be readable, but there's at least one major editing that still needs to be done. I strongly recommend utilizing beta readers. However, how you engage beta readers and how many you will have really depends. And this depends on your genre, how long you've been writing, and how you find your beta readers. You could do a general call for beta readers. If you do this, you should get more beta readers. And you could do a general call through your social media platform or any other ways that you're planning on engaging through readers in the future. If you already have a newsletter set up, that is a great way to ask for beta readers. And for this, if you do a general call, you should have more readers because the feedback's going to be less constructive, also less detailed, and you're going to have more beta readers just not complete the beta reading process. I personally prefer reading swaps with other authors, so I'll beta read one of their books and they'll beta read one of mine. And this works specifically well for authors of similar genres. And in this case, you only need a very few beta readers because you're actually going to be getting back detailed constructive criticism. And in this process, the more beta readers you have, the more that the feedback you're going to be getting back is the same. And so you're just going to be hearing the same thing over and over again, and at some point that's not helpful. And any conflicting opinions are really just going to be reader preference. And that's not going to change no matter what process in the writing where you are. There's always going to be readers that have specific preferences that just don't match with your book and your writing style. Another option for beta readers is services such as Fiverr. Some authors are adamantly opposed to paying for beta readers. And if that's you, that's absolutely fine. There's other ways to find beta readers. However, for authors that just don't have that community built up yet, or you may be in a less popular genre, Fiverr is a reasonable solution to finding beta readers, but it is going to cost money. I have utilized Fiverr for beta readers, and you have to be careful in selecting who you choose as a beta reader, but I found the feedback extremely helpful. Next, let's talk about sensitivity readers. Sensitivity readers are readers who read based upon their lived experience. Typically, sensitivity readers are utilized when you're writing about an identity that you do not share. However, I've used sensitivity readers for other autistic individuals, even though I'm autistic. When I was writing Neurodiverse, which is about a varied autistic experience, I did utilize sensitivity readers just to make sure that I had different perspectives from within our community. In my opinion, sensitivity readers are a must if you are writing about an identity that is not your own. And you may say, oh, well, my main character does not share the same race as me, or my main character doesn't share the same sexual identity as me, unless that identity is mainstream, such as you are a Black author writing a white main character. White culture is the norm, and so even though you don't share the same lived experience, you're exposed to white culture constantly. But as a white author, if I was going to write a Black main character, then I would need sensitivity readers to make sure that I'm not stereotyping, that I'm appropriately representing the culture. And you may say, oh, well, my main character, I'm not writing about that culture. The main character just happens to be Black. But that doesn't work for an identity. Like, you can't separate a person from their identity. I can't be separated from the fact that I am agender, non-binary, or that I am autistic. Those are holistic parts of who I am. And so to say, oh, well, I'm not writing about that experience, if you have a non-binary or autistic main character, that is part of the story. And so if you don't share those identities, you will need to engage in a sensitivity reader. I also strongly believe that sensitivity readers should be compensated. I do want to do a more in-depth video on this at some point in the future, so keep a lookout for that. Finally, let's talk about ARC readers. ARC readers are readers who read the book when it's finished or almost finished. There may be like one polished draft that's still left to be done. ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copies, and that's exactly what these readers are. They get a book before it is released. ARC reading is not a time for readers to give feedback to the author. However, I would say there is an exemption if there is a major concern. And by major concern, I mean maybe there is a problematic identity or a major plot hole, at which point I would direct any readers to contact the author privately and let them know about their concerns. But I would not, as a reader, I would not contact an author at this point to say, I don't like how polished this work is, or line by line edits, because the author's already moved past this point and they're ready to actually put their book out into the world. There is a lot of dialogue about ARC readers and authors. Different authors have different policies that they ask of their ARC readers. Some authors ask their ARC readers to not post any negative reviews. Negative can be defined different ways, but I've seen it a lot as any 3-star or lower reviews, which is, in my opinion, not necessarily negative, but that's, again, another discussion. I'm personally not a fan of these types of policies. I strongly believe in the separation of reader space and author space. And when I send out my ARC books, I do ask readers not to tag me in reviews. I do say, hey, if you're doing any sort of promotional or just like, here's this book kind of post, please feel free to tag me. I will engage and try and share and uplift their account. But in reviews specifically, I do ask not to be tagged. I also do not go to review sites such as Goodreads, Storygraph, even Amazon to look at the reviews of my books. I may look at the number of reviews, but I don't look at the specific reviews. I may do a more in-depth video about why I have this policy if you would be interested. But again, every author is going to approach this in a very different way. My recommendation is just to be very clear with your readers when you are communicating to them and giving out the ARCs. How many ARC readers do you want? Well, in my opinion, the more the better. The more reviews you have, the better your book is going to sell. One caveat that is a concern for authors is books being pirated. Many authors find their book already on pirated sites when they have given out their ARCs and their book hasn't even been published yet. I don't have a good solution for this, and while some authors decide to stop utilizing ARC readers for this reason, I have not. Maybe if I could find a way to stop these pirated sites in general, that would be great. But I don't think we as an author community really have a solution to that, unfortunately. I would just say ask readers not to utilize them. So I hope this gives you a better idea of the different types of readers. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. If you have any other writing questions, let me know and I can address them in future videos. And as always, keep reading, keep writing, and until next time.